Ladies and gentlemen, I am really grateful for having been given this opportunity to present before you some of the views pertaining to the importance of Siachen Glacier along with some of the historical facts. Before I start, AiA has introduced the subject. Whenever the soldiers fight for the country, they are not destroyed, they are martyred. They attain Viragati. There is no destruction. We are prepared to pay any price for the defense of our own country, for the protection of our own borders. If you don't protect anything, even in our civil life, it is lost. Therefore, it is essential that every inch of our territory that is ours must be protected at all costs, come what may. The price is not important. The cause is more important for the national importance. With this, I shall briefly dwell upon some historical aspects of Siachen. There have been certain skeptical comments about Siachen and its need for being held by India at such an exorbitant cost, approximately 2.5 crores or so, about 3 to 350 crores per year. First of all, I would like to say this Siachen Glacier and Siachen area, which forms part of Gilgit and Baltistan of J&K, is part of J&K since 1849. It is an integral part of J&K which acceded to India. Therefore, Siachen Glacier, along with the entire J&K, including Pakistan occupied Kashmir, is integral part of India, geographically, politically, constitutionally, morally, and above all, legally. That aspect must be kept at the back of our mind whenever we consider any part of country, leave alone Siachen, as to why and how it must be held. Why it must be held to be decided by the political authority, and how it is to be held, it is to be decided by the military authority, because we have our own plans of how defending things in a particular military strategic fashion. Therefore, this point must be at the back of our mind always. The second aspect which I want to highlight as a part of historical aspect is that the dispute is the direct result of treachery, betrayal, and blatant violation of bilateral and international agreements by Pakistan. Firstly, the treachery that was done by one Major Brown of Siachen Gilgit Agency on 1st November 1947, where he rebelled, and in fact I remember one of the telegrams sent by him to the India saying that all state personnel, officers who were guarding that Gilgit were killed and women absolutely molested and raped. This was the telegram sent by one Major Brown, who probably was an instrument of British conspiracy to keep J&K as an independent nation after the partition. This treachery of the Gilgit Agency and November 47 must be at the back of our mind. Secondly, there is blatant violation by Pakistan of the standstill agreement. It is an agreement that nothing should be done with the J&K. But yet on 20th October 1947, the volunteers, so-called tribal volunteers, along with Pakistan army personnel, not in uniform, they have attacked. This is a blatant violation of the standstill agreement. Initially, even after reaching the Karachi agreement in 1949, Pakistan went ahead and captured some important and you can say strategic areas in the Gilgit-Baltistan area. First one, initially, in fact, the map is not there, the projection is not working. I have got a small map, I don't know whether you'll be able to see it, but somehow I would like to say this map, the area which is little north of Kargil area, it is Minimarg, little west of it, Minimarg area, which was in a demilitarized zone, was occupied by Kashmir. After that, the Skardu fort was being held by the state forces of J&K. It was overran and completely captured by Pakistan in blatant violation of the Karachi agreement of that is June 1948. This happened in August. And lastly, I would like to say that this betrayal by Pakistan led to a series of actions and all, and came 1965 Operation Gibraltar by Pakistan. They wanted to impose a military solution to the problem, and they wanted to unilaterally take Jammu and Kashmir as their part. In fact, when you go back to Gibraltar, they expected a lot of local support. the support was not given. In fact, early indications of Pakistani infiltration along with the tribal warfare was given by the local people to the Indian Army. And based on that, we have launched counter operations and have been able to stem the complete tide in favor of India. And another aspect, as a part of history, I would like to bring it before you, the Kargil War. Why Pakistan during 1999 tried to vacate the post which we have vacated during the winter season, which I have been doing every year, because there is no point in spending, because of their various, you can say, tactical reasons. They have occupied it. Why? First reason that comes to my mind is they wanted to negate the advantages which Indian Army had by holding on to the Soltoro Ridge. The map is not there, otherwise I would have shown. That is immediately west of the glacier. That is an important ridge, the importance of which I will tell you little later. Therefore, the advantages which we were having, they wanted to negate that by holding on the certain heights in Kargil area. Second thing is, they wanted to change the ground position by military action, unilaterally. They tried it. In fact, if you recall, during 1965, they have launched a pre-operation in Kutch. They thought Indian Army is unable or unwilling to fight a war with Pakistan. That was their perception. With this perception in mind, they have launched that attack. That is the perception. Even here, because at the time when they were carrying on the negotiations with the Indian Army and the Prime Minister, and they tried that by doing this, we may lead India to be complacent, and therefore they wanted to achieve the larger objective of annexing J&K by military force. And lastly, they wanted to capture certain areas which are dominating our positions, and therefore they wanted to seek exchange of the withdrawal with the Soltoro Ridge, that is the Siachen area. That is very important. By holding this, because that is very important for us, it is dominating our road access to Leh. Therefore, they thought that we will be forced to exchange, to withdraw from the Siachen area in exchange for their withdrawal in this area, which we have totally thwarted. And locally, as a part of historical perspective, I would like to bring to your mind two aspects. One is the lack of, you can say, strategic vision by the government. Strategic vision. This is very important factor, ladies and gentlemen, which we must always keep in mind. In fact, at that part of time, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was at the helm of affairs. He was a great leader. He was a great strategist. But what I felt was this hesitation during 1947 to complete the task. Because even a normal runner, a sprinter, an athlete would know, if you want to reach the objective and come first, you have to sprint last 5, 10 yards, 15 yards, depending upon the type of running you do. If it is a marathon running a little longer time, if it is a short time, immediately for 5, 6 yards, you have to put in your best. Then only you can come first. Then only you can win. Otherwise you can't. This is the thing which actually did not occur to our leadership. Possibly, they were misled by the bureaucracy. I have no hesitation in this. They were misled. In fact, if they had forced it, this thing can be done, this thing should be done, Shatru Shesham cannot be left, the enemy remnants must be pushed back so that we have the complete J&K under our control as exceeded by the Raja Hari Singh. But that did not happen. We went to all other things. I did not want to go. But this hesitation and indecision at the political level was one of the causes. And lastly, subsequently, the incorporation of Article 370 also led to various things. In fact, if you recall, recall the events that took place during the formulation of our Constitution, Dr. Ambedkar and Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, they were totally opposed for incorporation of any special provisions for J&K. They were totally against that. Then for some mysterious reason, I think one bureaucrat, then Ramaswamy, the secretary was Ramaswamy Mudaliar, I think. He was called, and he drafted the 370, this amendment, and later on somehow he persuaded both our Dr. Ambedkar and the Sardar Patel, and the thing went off. So this you can say lack of strategic vision on the part of political leadership and the total support by bureaucracy in this. If at that time, if Nehru was informed of the impact of this political, that is 370, because our bureaucratic leaders at that point of time, sorry to divert that, They were more interested in grabbing power. They wanted army, defense forces under them as a public sector undertaking. See, it is how ridiculous it is, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. You can see that they wanted them as a public sector undertaking. Not that they should have studied, because none of them were exposed to strategic aspects. They were all, you can say, serving the British Empire. They were all towing their line. Therefore, there were very less opportunity. Some of them are eminent people. I am not questioning their capability. I am not questioning their patriotism. I am not questioning. I am only trying to highlight their incapability to grasp the strategic importance or import of certain issues. The same thing happened on various issues, which I would not like to go. Therefore, these are some of the facts which I would like to notice as to how historically these are the facts that actually that are concerned with the J&K in general and the Siachen in particular. Then coming to strategic importance of the Siachen area. Siachen Glacier obviously is of geographical interest for us, whereas the Soltoro Ridge, in fact, I don't know, because without map we are little handicapped. The Soltoro Ridge, which is here, the glacier is here, I don't know, and along the west of the glacier is the ridge. In the glacier, possibly you can't hold defenses there because it is icy, rock of ice. Whereas west of that is the Soltoro Ridge, which is a massive feature which is completely dominating the entire area. In fact, if you see here, it is dominating the entire, you can say, Baltistan and Gachi area. And there is also a very important plateau there, the Diosai Plateau. That is, Diosai Plateau is one of the second most largest plateau at that height in the world. And therefore, this Saltoro Ridge, it is a dominating and a massive ridgeline. It dominates all the Gilgit Baltistan area and Gachi area, and as well as Diosai plains. Its importance I will tell you little later. And any move by Pakistan to link up with AiA chain, that is the Karakoram Pass, it has got ominous implications. Because the moment they come to cross the Saltoro Ridge and come to south of Karakoram area, in the little south of it, and they will, the whole Ladakh range will be exposed. The whole Ladakh range will be exposed. That means not only the Kargil Leh axis, it is also the Manali Ufchi axis. Whenever they come down, they will be exposed. They will be subject to infiltration. They will be subject to this thing from multiple directions. They can do this, and therefore such an important. And lastly, the effective link up the Soltoro and then AiA chain, already the Epsang Valley, the Chinese are doing it. Chinese are already coming and patrolling that area, in south of Karakoram area. And therefore, if that thing happens, if they are able to link up, already China is in occupation of almost 50 to 60,000 square kilometers of our area. And if these people try to link up, and there is a wedge between AiA chain and Siachen. Kindly see this map. I do not know whether you will be able to see between the AiA chain area and the Soltoro, the glacier. This is the area which is now being patrolled by us. Therefore, it can be effectively controlled also by us. We can prevent, you can say, permanent, you can say, ingress by China. Third aspect is, there is certain area which has been ceded by Pakistan to China in 1963. This area, which is immediately north and northeast of this thing, this Saltoro Ridge, it is Shaksam Valley. It is called Shaksam Valley. It was about 4,623 kilometers, something like that. It was ceded to China. In fact, this ceding of this giving away of Indian claimed territory to China is probably, that is the beginning point of a strategic relationship between China and Pakistan. In 63 this happened. After that only, their total, you can say, collusion against India has started. Probably that is the beginning. In fact, Chinese were convinced that when Pakistan could gift almost 5,000 square kilometers of area to them, which is of strategic nature for China. Therefore, what they thought is that this gifting away by Pakistan has brought two aspects. One is it has enhanced the level. It is the beginning of Sino-Pak collusion. Secondly, and more importantly, is it has involved China in an otherwise bilateral issue between Pakistan and India. Kindly note this point, ladies and gentlemen. The J&K issue is an issue which is of bilateral nature. We never accepted any third-party intervention. But by gifting away a territory, which is part of the J&K, to China, they have tried to involve China in an otherwise exclusively bilateral issue between Pakistan and China. This aspect you may kindly go. Second aspect I would like to mention is the cardinal principle of military strategy. Military strategy involves, ladies and gentlemen, that we should not fight wars on our territory. We should fight wars for the protection of our country as far away as possible. I would like to just give you some indications as to how this was done earlier historically. During British, before 1947, Britishers fought a major Afghan wars at exorbitant cost. Our Indian soldiers went there. Why did they fight Afghanistan in those days when that was not of strategic importance? They wanted to stop polar bear coming into the Indian South Asian subcontinent. Therefore, they thought it's better we fight in Afghanistan rather than waiting for them in India and fighting them in our own territory. Part of it may be lost in a war. We do not know what the outcome of war, how it will be. Therefore, the military strategy involves that we fight, we ensure the defense of a country by fighting wars far away from border, as far away as possible. In fact, if Pakistan had been a normal, good neighborly relations, who would have been fighting Afghanistan? To stem the tide of ISIS and other this Al-Qaeda and militant organization, it would have been in India's interest to fight Afghanistan. But because of Pakistan being totally anti-India and totally in collusion with China, that aspect has come. Therefore, for us to leave this fighting, the prevention of any Chinese or Pakistani ingress into India must be stopped as far away as possible. Same thing is happening with why USA is fighting in Afghanistan, in Syria, in Iraq. They wanted to prevent or neutralize the threat of ISIS, Al-Qaeda and other things as far away from their mainland. That is what they are fighting. And they know that if they succeed here, probably they will pose a major threat to the homeland security of USA. That is why they are fighting. So is the case with China. China wanted to fight India and they are claiming Arunachal Pradesh, 90,000 square kilometers. They are claiming Leh area and the Siachen. Why? They wanted to ensure the security of their mainland by keeping the threats, because they find militarily, even though not from superpower and a nuclear point of view, we are a geographical and major country with China. Therefore, but Chinese perception, they are very shrewd strategically. They feel that they must fight claim as much as possible beyond their borders so that they can ward off any possible threat from India militarily. This aspect I thought I would like to bring to your notice. Another thing I would like to say, whenever we are talking of the strategic importance of Siachen, ladies and gentlemen, we must find that if Saltaro Ridge is, let us say, given away, what happens? That our complete area south of Karakoram Pass, this one, the Depsang Valley, all of them lay this one at the dominating heights. They can infiltrate there, they can occupy, they can patrol. We are not having permanent defenses there because of various reasons. And therefore, this defense of Saltaro or Siachen is providing depth to our strategic area. I would call it the wedge between Siachen and Siachen. This wedge must be strengthened at all costs. Then only we can prevent the link-up of China and Pakistan, number one. If link-up takes place, I have no doubt in my mind, Pakistan has already gifted 5,000 square kilometers of our area to China, and this area, which gives them depth to the major highway which is going northeast from Siachen to the Kasgar area, it provides depth to them. That is why they are in Siachen. In fact, their route is passing through that area. That is why they are claiming it. They have been claiming it, they have occupied it rather. Why only claim? It is there which is under their occupation. And they want to naturally, in military strategies, which Chinese are very shrewd in that respect, they wanted to to enlarge and provide more depth to these highways, which are very critical for them for linking up with this Xinjiang. And another aspect is, always we are very reactive as of today, possibly, and I hope certainly, we will also take certain military action to recover our land occupied by Pakistan. Unless as a military commander, if I have that view, that means it is absolutely, I don't wait that some direction should come and then only plan. No, this is not the case. There should be a contingency planning that I must be able at a given time, in a given scenario, on you can say instructions or acceptance or approval by the political authority, must be able to recapture all the land. And I feel that might happen in my lifetime. I pray for that. But however, should we at any time want to recapture Skardu, recapture Gilgit from this side, military operation, I want my flank to be secure. I don't want any interference from Saltoro Ridge, which is occupied by Pakistan. Somebody is asking, making a peace park, I will little come of that. I want my flank to be protected, though my operation, so that my operation towards, you can say, Gilgit and Pakistan can continue uninterrupted. This is one important reason that should we decide. I hope we will certainly decide at a certain point of time in future, this to take back our land in Gilgit and Baltistan and that area. I'm only dealing with this limited area. Definitely this Saltoro Ridge of Siachen Glacier will provide an effective and secure flank protection from the east. Kindly remember this aspect. Secondly, the Shaksgam Valley is already in occupation of the China. They have gifted away to that area. That area lies immediately, you can say, northwest and northeast of our Saltoro Ridge. Therefore, should there be any conflict, should there be any requirement of tactical assistance being given by China to this area only, limited area only, this is possible from here. Their tactical assistance, gentlemen, is not, you can say, in terms of large divisions, brigades or battalions. Even 100 people form a formidable strength in that high altitude area where we can hold a key post and you can prevent large forces coming. Large forces mean there also maybe maximum battalion size operation. Therefore, they can render tactical assistance to Pakistan if required from the Shaksgam Valley, that is the area ceded to China by Pakistan. Then the importance of this Siachen area, Saltoro region, west of it lies, that should it be lost, then it opens up multiple axes of infiltration, terrorist attack, and everywhere. Now we are facing the attacks from the north only, now we will face from northeast and even from this. And how? Now this area, when secured in conjunction with oxygen defenses of China, and this link-up takes place, my God, it will expose all our defenses in the Ladakh sector, our Leh defenses, our the access from Kargil to Leh, our access from Manali to Upshi, all of them will be exposed to enemy interference and threat. And therein to retake areas in such high altitude area is a Herculean task. It is only Indian army which did. It is only Indian, that is Bana post which he had captured. The other day it was there, Bana Singh Saab, along with all other officers and all, he captured that thing. That is why it is renamed for the first time in the name of a soldier, a Bana post. Such a difficult task. And therefore, when we are talking of the importance of Siachen Glacier, kindly remember this. This is the grave implications that should be vacate that area. Then why Pakistan is trying to occupy all that also? We have to, other gentleman was talking that when we were discussing, interacting, that the other enemy also, the other commander also, the opposing party in whatever the field of activity, they will have their own plans. Why Pakistan in the 1970s, they were trying to establish their legitimacy over Siachen Glacier, including Saltoro Ridge. Since 1780s, they were started giving approval for this on various mountaineering expeditions. They had to take permission from, because Skardu is the base camp from which many of these expeditions are launched. Once they take approval from this thing, many various countries, and slowly, and they all started showing this area as part of this one Pakistan. Slowly they started showing this Pakistan. And secondly, they were, apart from establishing their their legitimacy, the geographical link-up has got enormous geographical, you can say, significance for us. Already we have lost 50,000 square kilometers, and this area is lost. Again, it comes all approximate to that area only. 1 lakh square kilometers of area of this extremely strategic nature will be lost. And therefore, Pakistan wants to gain this and then see that we are not in this area in any strength, and they are in the dominating heights. Then, as a military commander, Pakistan also would be thinking that yes, if they come into this area, they will be completely this one dominating and threatening our axis of maintenance, reinforcements, and other things in this area. With this brief introduction to, because it's very complex, this thing, how we want to give a military appreciation of the importance of this area and how to retain that area, I would not go into the details. But however, some of the political factors I would like to highlight here. Many people, we have been thinking that we are a regional power. We have emerged as a regional power. Obama has declared as a regional power. And then what is the importance of a regional power? When I think India is a regional power in South Asia, all the countries in the South Asia must, I am not talking of a big brotherhood, I am not talking of Africa, that we should be able to establish the supremacy over these South Asian countries. But definitely, being a larger country or largest country in South Asia, they must think, they must take the security concerns of India into their consideration. That is important factor. When you take Pakistan, you take Nepal, you take, you can say Bhutan, you take Bangladesh, you take Myanmar, then Sri Lanka, coming to Seychelles in the southwest. All these countries which form part of South Asia must be able to take our security considerations into their calculation whenever anything is done against the security interests of India, like granting of bases, granting of this naval bases, granting of the air bases, granting of intelligence system which Bangladesh has done in Coco Islands in the north of Andaman, like this. And therefore, when you are talking of this, when you give in to the demands of Pakistan for vacating in whatever form, which I will deal little later, that means it lowers the stature of India. It lowers the regional and the strategic stature of India. India cannot at least assert their claims in a particular issue. There are several issues which I don't want to go into now, but definitely they would say that we are unable to assert our rights, protect our vital interests, and the national image will take a beating, not only in Asia in general and South Asia in particular. Gentlemen, even today, as of today, South Asian countries are not taking in India's interest at all. Pakistan, we know for that matter. Even Nepal, which is totally dependent, I have been, of course, taking up this case for the last 10 years. Nepal must be kept under all circumstances under the friendship. I won't say influence or anything. I won't use the term, it's a Cold War term. But we must maintain most cordial relations. But somehow, what happened? Our policy has not so well succeeded. In fact, we have been having the trouble with the constitution, with the Madhes. Madhes, what is this Madhes area? Just sorry for the diversion. I would like to say how this thing happened. And I will also give you example what other countries in the world, how to try to solve the problem. What is the problem of Madhes? Madhes, ladies and gentlemen, is the land given to Nepal by British India for their assistance during 1857 independent movement. Kindly remember, this is the area part of UP, some part of Bihar, which have been given by British. When China refuses to honor or recognize the agreements which you have, border agreements which you have reached with even this one you can say Tibetan government, why should we also do? This is a question mark. Not that we should fight it out like that. I will give you what other countries try to do it. Similarly, it happened. Our large number of, you can say, Indian origin people in Sri Lanka, they had problems. We sent IPKF, firstly to protect them, then we fought against them, and the Sri Lankan president and army, they tried to give support to the Tamil rebels, and we were forced to fight them. You see what misfortune that befell our Indian forces. We had to fight our own people, for whose protection we entered into this thing. This is the thing what happened. And here there is a Fiji country. There is one Chaudhary Sahab, and he became the president of the Fiji. And you won't believe, a corporal or a sergeant of their air force, he revolted and overthrew this government. And being an Indian national, ladies and gentlemen, I tried to search newspaper, even the small caption, whether India would be concerned that the Indian national, with our population is there, he became the president. He was overthrown by a low-ranking, you can say, corporal of that nation, and not even a ripple in our country. Now I will invite, just kindly pardon this thing, I want to highlight this point. Let us see what Turkey has done. There was a problem in Cyprus. Half of it was held this thing and 30% of this thing, and there was only a notional or perceived threat to the Turkish origin people in Cyprus. Only notional, nothing happened. What did Turkey do? Turkey moved in their forces, occupied 37% of the area, and sitting today. Even today, it may not have been recognized by the international form, but it is an occupation and looking after the interests of the Indian origin, of their Turkish origin people. It is being called by different name and other thing, not yet fully recognized by various countries in the world. That is the solution which those people did. Who? Our Indian national, you are all right. You say an American citizen, a Chinese American citizen of Chinese origin. One single person was imprisoned for some reason or the other. The former president of USA goes to China, tries to get him released, and brings him back on the plane. I hope you remember the incident. He went there, and that is the importance which they give to their citizens. Therefore, here what to do? This is the thing what happened. Therefore, here a policy perception, the image of the country, I am not actually advocating a big brotherhood at all. But the regional stature of India must be established here first. In fact, when I have been taking up this case for inclusion of our name in the UNSC, first let us establish ourselves in South Asia. Let all the countries in South Asia look for us for help. We are prepared to help. We don't want any big brotherhood or any domination. But we want all the South Asian national countries to come together collectively, live peacefully, without any interference from others. We should not do anything that adversely affects the security of other countries. Whereas, as of today, all countries, except Bhutan, probably it also showed some ice in one of the incidents and trying to support China in one of the international affairs. But all countries, they are doing it. And what we did in Bangladesh, no other country would have done it. In fact, I was interacting with one of the persons. No other country would have fought a war for an ideal. Bangladesh was our neighboring country. They large influx took place because of, you can say, atrocities by the Pakistani army. We went in and liberated that country, handed them over back, and did not seek any concession whatsoever. Did not seek. In fact, would have reached an agreement there. They would have accepted Sheikh Mujibur Rahman at the time. Would have accepted whatever condition is there, because we conquered that country and giving back to them as a great country. But what they did? Today, I am not trying to provoke or anything. The reality of the ground situation is, we have today 2 crores of Bangladeshi nationals in India. We have infiltrated illegally. 2 crores, almost 1.75 or something like that, approximately 2 crores of Bangladeshi nationals. I don't want to name any religion or anything like that. Bangladeshi nationals have infiltrated illegally into India. We have not done anything. And most of them have been given voting rights. Some of them have been given jobs. Many of them are living. We are not questioning that. But this is what a regional state, then at least some concessions should have been extracted. Nothing has been done. Therefore, when I am talking of this political factor, the stature, regional stature, when we want to attain the regional power, we must have these ingredients of power. Then only people will recognize our stature.